I think many people have faced a serious problem, and that is their mother-in-law. I am sure you can relate yourself to such people. This woman seems to always find something she doesn't like, which leads to frequent arguments. My wife, on the other hand, doesn't like conflict and is generally good-natured, so we rarely fight, unlike her mother. At one point, however, my wife suggested that I talk to her mom to improve our relationship. I thought, okay, I've had enough of this situation. It's time to take action. After finishing work, I bought flowers and went to her house. Standing outside her apartment, I pressed the doorbell, mentally preparing myself for the worst-case scenario. To my surprise, when the door opened, I hardly recognized my mother-in-law. She had styled her hair, done her makeup, and even wore a nice dress. I was used to seeing her in a more casual look, although I knew she worked in an office where strict attire was required for high-level meetings. For a moment, I thought I was speechless at what I saw, but then I regained my composure, greeted her, and handed her a bouquet of her favorite peonies. I found it odd that she accepted them calmly, smiling instead of her usual smirk. While she arranged the flowers in a vase, I headed into the apartment, anxiously awaiting her return. When she finally joined me, I couldn't find the words, and the only thing that escaped my lips was a compliment about her beauty, perhaps even surpassing that of her daughter. In reply, she brushed aside my flattery and inquired as to the reason for my visit. Without hesitation, I confessed that I desired reconciliation. I expressed my weariness at the constant arguments between us. I assumed that she too was tired of these conflicts. She looked at me and said, "You know, I am not as young as you. These constant quarrels are undermining my health. Why do you need all these conflicts? You're acting like a child, always joking around with me, aren't you?" I lowered my eyes, realizing that she did have a point. I didn't believe that her behavior towards me was only due to those jokes. Nevertheless, I decided to admit my guilt in order to resolve the situation quickly. I uttered the words, "I apologize." However, she indifferently stood up, turned away, and curtly replied no. She said that was not enough. Then I got upset, stood up and asked, "Why?" She crossed her arms and remained silent. I walked over to her, put my arm around her shoulders, and turned her around so that we were face to face. She looked at me with wide, open eyes. Unable to think of anything better to do, I decided to kiss her. As she pulled away, she remarked that I was on the right track, but a kiss alone wasn't enough to reconcile us. Realizing her words, I took her hand and led her to the bedroom. After a long and sincere apology in bed, all she said was, "Our reconciliation has been extended for a week. Come back sometime for another apology. There will be no quarrels now. I am satisfied, my wife is satisfied, and my mother-in-law is now the happiest woman in the world. She has other desires now. There is no time for quarrels.